audience members. Good evening, twitch.tv, and good evening to MB Studios. I'm your host, Misinformation, for this lovely show that we call That Sounds Right, the trivia game show where it doesn't matter who sounds right. No, it does. It does matter who sounds right. It does not matter who is right. Did I get that right? Will Actually, with me as always is my co-host, Will Actually. Will, good evening.
Will Actually here, the hero the show needs, but not necessarily the one it deserves. Misinformation. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Will. That's a perfect description of your job on the show. Now,
thankless job.
On this show, it's your job to tell us who is right.
Mm-hmm.
But what do folks actually get points for on this show?
Folks actually gets points for making the most sense to misinformation. Doesn't matter if they're correct or not. It only matters if she thinks that they're correct. Yeah,
Will, thank you. That's a perfect description. What matters most on this show is if I think you're right, whether you are or not. And Will's going to tell me just how well I'm doing tonight with those answers.
Oh, I'll be chiming in every question on the show, letting her know how she's doing and not having it matter a lick, but it's all right. We're here. We're having fun.
Oh, thanks so much. Will, it matters to me, even if it doesn't matter to the points or the outcome of the show itself. You've got some fans in the chat already as well. Folks, I'm going to bring on our three contestants. Make some noise for these folks. We've got Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan,
hey.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on. We've got Maya.
Hello.
Maya, hello. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we have Liz. Good evening, Liz.
Hi.
Welcome, one and all. Three excellent contestants. We're really excited to get started here tonight. Folks, if you're joining us for the first time in the chat, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to ask the contestants a question. They're going to give me an answer. One of these contestants will be giving me a correct, factual answer. The other two are hearing the question for the first time, making up an answer on the spot. It's up to us to determine who sounds right. Without further ado, let's dive on in. Our first question of the first round of the show is: Steve Martin composed the bluegrass album Rare Bird Alert while filming what movie? This is a bluegrass album by Steve Martin, Rare Bird Alert. What movie was Steve Martin filming while making this album? Dr. Dan, we're coming to you first. What's your answer?
That would be the movie The Big Year. It is a movie in which Steve Martin plays a bird watcher. He's not very good at it, but he's a bird watcher throughout that movie. Jack Black and Owen Wilson also play bird watchers in that movie. It's a movie about bird watching.
Makes sense that he would, write a bluegrass album called Rare Bird Alert while acting as a bird watcher.
It does.
Dr. Dan, that's a very doctoral answer. Maya, I'm going to go to you next. What's your answer?
Well, it was actually the Pink Panther, his biggest hit. So Steve Martin was filming the Pink Panther, and he came across in the script the term rara avis, which translates to rare bird, and he loved it, and he wrote a whole album about it.
Wow, oh, he wrote a whole album inspired by that phrase that he encountered.
Yeah.
Wow. Maya, another strong answer, as I do know that Steve Martin was in the Pink Panther, and you used all those fancy words. Strong answers all around. Liz, let's hear yours.
So it was actually while he was filming Roxanne, the Cyrano de Bergerac adaptation that people probably haven't seen. And that's why it's called Rare Bird Alert. He knew the film was a special, unique retelling of a well-known classic and rare.
Right. A rare opportunity for him, I'm sure, as well. Listen, Liz, Maya, Dr. Dan, I'm seeing it in the chat and I'm hearing it inside my own head. This is a strong start to the show. That much is certain. These are three strong answers. And I have to say, of all three of these movies, I have seen maybe 0.5 of them. So I'm not sure. I'm frankly not sure if he ever played a bird watcher. I'm not sure if that phrase "rah rah siwa" was in the movie at all. But the reasoning for all three answers was really astounding. Have all of you seen these movies that you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone has. Everyone has seen all of them.
Oh, I haven't seen the Pink Panther, but I've seen Roxanne.
I haven't seen the bird.
And I've also
watching
seen
one.
The Big Year, the movie I saw.
I've
And
not
Maya-
seen The Big Year.
I haven't seen the other ones, only Pink Panther.
You've only seen Pink Panther. Okay, so we've got some mixed Steve Martin education here. He's a lovely man, I've heard. I don't know him personally, Steve. But listen, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the one that makes the most sense to me. Tina Talon in the chat says, "I'm pretty sure he played a bird watcher at some point," and that's what Dr. Dan has said.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense to me why you would write an album called Rare Bird Alert if you were playing a bird watcher. I'm going to go with logic here on this first question. Yeah, I agree, Radish Brett. I'm going Dan on this one. I am going to give 5 points to Dan for a great answer. If he played a bird watcher, it stands to reason that he would write this album about birds.
Stands to reason, and it's correct.
Wow.
Yeah, misinformation off to a strong start. That's what we love.
Off to a strong start. Off to a strong start indeed. All three of you are. We've got some cheers going on in the chat for facts. I must remind you, chat, that we're really not here for facts. We're really here for who is the best at making up facts. I just want to, that was a nice first point, but let's just stay on target here with the point of the show. I'm going to move on to the second question in the first round, which is, how much nutmeg do you need to ingest in order to achieve psychoactive effects?
In order to achieve
So, as we all know,
sorry.
Yep, no, I'm going to read it again, Maya, and it's also at the bottom of your screen if you take a look down there. Round one, question 2 is, how much nutmeg do you need to consume, to ingest, in order to achieve psychoactive effects? As we all know, if you eat enough nutmeg, you're going to feel something unique. Let's hear a little bit more about what that is and how much nutmeg you need to achieve that effect. Maya, let's go to you first on this question. What's your answer?
It's actually a lot less than you would think. It's only about 2 tablespoons, so watch out. I mean, recipes never call for that much, but it works because nutmeg releases dopamine, which makes you feel happy. But in enough quantities, it makes you feel very happy and have a psychedelic experience.
A psychedelic experience. Wow. It's shocking to me that I've never heard this because I feel like I've eaten a lot of like pie slices and it's never occurred to me to keep count.
It's always just
of
a
them.
sprinkle.
It's just a sprinkle. That sounds right, Maya. Let's go to Liz. Liz, what's your answer?
So I'm gonna have to disagree with Maya. It's actually 5 to 15 grams, and grams are a lot bigger than you think they are, especially in terms of spices. And that's why you can eat a pie without having any sort of brain activity response. You can eat as much nutmeg as you want, really. You're not going to reach those levels. But, earlier in the past, like in 2020, there was like a TikTok going around telling people that they could use nutmeg to have psychoactive effects.
No.
So
were people trying to achieve that?
Yeah, because, internet trends always end well.
Right. That's troubling to hear. Liz, thank you for that answer. Let's hear from Dan. Dr. Dan, how much nutmeg do I have to eat?
It's about half a cup, so it's a fair amount of nutmeg. So it's a process in and of itself. If you think of like what the cinnamon challenge is and how just you can't really eat like a tablespoon of cinnamon,
right?
Like it's too difficult because it dries out your tongue. It's like that half cup of nutmeg. It's a process. But what happens though is like once your body has ingested it, you start to feel like numbness and tingling in all of your limbs and throughout your body. And it's said to have created like an out of body experience for those that have decided to go down that route.
Yeah, I think that honestly, just eating that much nutmeg, I think would probably give me an out of body experience of sorts, in addition to the psychoactive effects. Folks, Dan did once tell me I was about to ingest too much vanilla. Dr. Dan, is that true? Did you warn someone about ingesting too much vanilla?
I warn people about things every day. I am a doctor. That is my literal profession.
That's a strong argument, Dr. Dan. I want to return to one of these answers quickly. Just to summarize, we had Maya said a couple tablespoons, I believe. Dan, you said half a cup, and Liz, you said 5 to 10 grams. 5 to 15?
5 to 15.
5 to 15. So that's that's a margin of 10 grams. Does it depend on the person? Does it depend on how strong-willed they are, or perhaps how susceptible to nutmeg?
I mean, it depends on like the size of the person, right? Because if you think about like alcohol, a very petite person does not need to consume as much alcohol as like a 6'5" Viking would in order to achieve the same level of intoxication. So It's like that, every body is different. And thus it's a wide range because there are a wide range of people.
Yeah. Liz, you know what? Yeah, Maya, please.
I'm dying to know, can you overdose on nutmeg?
You can't really overdose in like the traditional sense. But you can definitely have too much. And I mean, generally speaking, something like that with uncontrollable psychoactive effects, like not a great plan, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And obviously there haven't been like clinical trials about nutmeg, so it's hard to know.
Gaping hole in the research.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this seems like something I'd like to know more about, but not through personal experience. Liz, you seem like an expert on this. That was a great answer and a great follow-up answer as well. I'm going to give you 5 points for 5 to 15 grams. That's a heavy amount of nutmeg. I certainly, we wouldn't consume that by accident, but perhaps the TikTokers are making attempts.
Will actually here. It's true. Liz is correct. Nutmeg, 5 to 10 grams.
Will, this is a great night for you so far.
We're off to an amazing start. My cat thinks so too. Hi, Mia.
Mia's getting so excited.
I want to point out that makes me also correct because half a cup is more than 5 to 15 grams.
So Dr. Dan, what you're pointing out to us is that if you ate a half a cup of nutmeg, then you certainly would feel the psychoactive effects.
Regardless of the size of the person consuming it.
Probably
it's like
true.
My answer is Liz's answer plus a half a cup.
Probably true, Dr. Dan. We have some folks celebrating facts in the chat. Something I don't personally care for, but again, I'm glad the chat's happy, and I'm glad my best friend in the world, Will, actually is happy. Let's go on to our third question in the first round, which is, where do cats outnumber people by the largest margin? Somewhere in the world, cats outnumber people. Where is it the most that they outnumber people by? This is a great question. I'd love to know. And Liz, we're going to come to you first. Yes.
Oh, okay. I actually have a follow-up question, which is, are we talking about domesticated cats or wild cats?
I think that's up to all of our interpretation here.
Okay.
I would say that if it were me, I would assume all cats, the wild, the indoors, the outdoors, the kittens, all of them. But It's up to each of you to give the answer that you think sounds right. Liz, what do you think sounds right?
In that case, I'm going to say the Greek island of Syros, because on many of the Greek islands, cats are sort of semi-domesticated, and the community cares for them. So the community leaves out food and water, and they just wander around in the beautiful Greek Isles. And that's my answer.
Liz, you asked a follow-up question, then you gave an incredibly specific, confident answer. So I'm impressed. Dan, let's go to you next. What's your answer?
My answer is the Amazon. If you think about it, the Amazon is filled with tons of different types of wild cats, jaguars, panthers, etc. There are very few people who live in the Amazon. So it sounds like it's a hard thing to do for cats to outnumber people, but you have to think of it the other way. Not where there are so many cats, it's where there aren't that many people.
I see. You know, Dan, when you first gave me that answer, I was skeptical, but hearing that reasoning, I mean, that really stands up. That really holds up to me. That might sound right. Maya, what's your answer?
So both of you had aspects of truth to your answers. But the real answer is an island that's part of Japan, where the ratio of cats to humans is 36-1. But actually, that is because people keep moving away. So there's only 6 people left on the whole island.
There's only 6 people left? And how many cats? Many?
36 times 6. I don't know that many.
36 times 6, chat. Go ahead and let us know what that is. So just to recap the answers. We have Liz, the island of Syros, was it?
Yeah, Syros.
Syros. In Greece. I believe that. Dan says the Amazon rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that too. It could be all 3. And we have Maya's answer, a Japanese island. Maya, did you give us the name of that island?
I did not.
Okay, great. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. 3 very different parts of the world. As we established, cats are everywhere. It looks like 216 cats would be on that island, Maya. This is another tough one for me because, again, this is by the widest margin. So cats could outnumber people in all of these places, but we're really looking for where the most cats is. You know, 6 people on this island it's hard to believe, but it's also very specific. And on the show, we know I love specificity. Maya, the chat loves your answer too. We're going to go with your answer on this one. 5 points to Maya for a Japanese island where there's only 6 people. And according to the chat, 216 cats of all kinds.
Facts.
Wow.
According to my notes, the name of the island is Aoshima. 36-1.
Aoshima. Thank you, Will, for the facts. Thank you, all 3 of you, for the facts from this first round. We're all tied up, facts to facts to facts. It's a tied score, but there are still 2 rounds left. Dr. Dan.
Yes.
You're tied up right now. Are you still feeling confident?
I didn't start feeling confident, so I feel the same as I did when I started.
Glad to hear it. Is there anything that you want to tell the chat?
Sure. If you think I'm funny, if you want to see what other things I do, watch QAW Thursday nights on 2MB Studios, where I play Eddie Cation, a substitute teacher who was at one point a ghost and is now back alive, and he teams up with unofficial 2MB mascot Loaf the Wonder Bread in wrestling.
Excellent. Great plug, Dr. Dan. Thank you so much. QAW right here on 2MB. Thank you so much. Let's move on to round 2. Round 2, question 1 is, what composer wrote the most concertos for French horn? We all know the French horn goes around, opening, smaller opening for the mouth, loud noise. Who's that composer? I gotta know. Dr. Dan, who who's this composer? Who are we talking about here?
I mean, sometimes the answer is the easiest one, and the one that sounds the most right is Mozart. Mozart is the person who wrote the most concertos for the French horn. Just plain and simple. It's a fact that is Googleable.
Plain and simple. It's a fact that's Googleable. Mozart is just the guy who wrote it all, basically. We all know Mozart because we all know Mozart.
He wrote the most concertos in general for pretty much most instruments.
Makes sense to me. Maya, what's your answer?
Well, Mozart does sound right. I think there's one other that does sound right as well, because it is right. And that would be Bach. Bach wrote many, many concertos for many, many instruments and loved the French.
And he loved the French.
Yeah.
Oh, French horn. I see.
Yeah, that's where the horn came from. And he was obsessed with the culture, and so he actually made entire concertos around the French horn, which was weird at the time.
Oh, makes sense to me. Mozart, Bach, these are names we all know. Let's go to Liz. Liz, what's your answer?
So I'm just going to specify Dan's not totally wrong, but Dr. Dan's not totally right either, because it's specifically Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. There are multiple Mozarts in the canon. Now, W.A. Mozart, that's the big one that everyone knows, but he could have been talking about anyone, and I just wanted to include the first names. And also, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart had a specific horn player that he wrote for. And usually with an instrument like the French horn, no composer wants to write for it. So usually the composer has to have a specific person in mind. Otherwise, why bother writing for the French horn?
Otherwise, why bother writing for the French horn? We've been throwing a lot of shade to the French horn during this question. It seems like this is not something that people typically write concertos for. Makes sense to me. The French horn, what I know about it is I already said it. It's loud. It has two openings. It makes sound at one end. Pretty loud sound, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And I think, is the French horn the one they play when they wake people up really early in the morning at like boot camp?
That's a bugle.
A bugle is not a real instrument.
Facts.
Is it?
It's an instrument, and it's also a type of chip.
And a bugle is a cylindrical brass instrument, meaning the length of the tube stays the same. And French horn is a conical brass instrument, meaning it flares out. So the entire tubing is getting gradually wider all the way until you end with the bell.
And the reason for that is because it will accommodate the hand positions that you have to put in the bell to properly play the French horn.
I thought a bugle was more of a toy instrument, like a kazoo. Or
there's a toy version.
Much
see. Like there is a toy version of a guitar or a ukulele. It's not like a real one, but it's a toy representation. There are lots of toy representations of lots of things.
Like a toy piano. There are toy keyboards.
Or a toy car. Or a toy dinosaur.
This was actually pioneered by an educator named Suzuki who realized that children need a different type of education than adults. And so he created smaller versions of instruments, most notably a smaller violin.
Wow. I'm learning so much, but the chat is now yelling at me to stop getting distracted because the question is not about bugles or about education. The question is about who wrote this French horn stuff. And it seems like, Liz, you gave me the most details about why the French horn, which apparently is unusual, again, according to Liz. But I'm going to go ahead and give you 5 points for all that detailed stuff about Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Was that the name? Yes. Yeah. W.A. Mozart.
W.A. Mozart. So surprising that two people can give the right answer, but only one is righter than the other, and it is Liz.
Liz was the most right.
Four.
Finally, that 1 year of conservatory paid off.
You learned all that in 1 year?
Well, I mean, there were many years of high school instrument playing that preceded that.
I was going to guess Mozart, and then Dan said Mozart, and I was like, I can't guess Mozart.
That's kind of why I picked it, though, because I knew that it was a horn question that could be confusing. Because, like, it's something that other people could potentially guess. And I could have done weird horn facts that other people wouldn't guess.
Wow. Will is having a great night exploring love story. You're exactly right. I am also having a great night because 4 rounds have gone to the person who sounded the most right. And Will loves
And was the most right.
There it is. They were the most right. As Will's going to be reminding me of that all night while I'm doing his laundry, according to the deal that we have. If you want the history of that deal, you're going to have to go back to past episodes on youtube.com/2MB Studios. Our next question is, how did Donkey Kong get his name? First name Donkey, last name Kong. This popular character got his name somehow. How? Maya, how did Donkey Kong get his name?
So in Nintendo world, Kong means big monkey. And the creator really wanted his name to mean stupid monkey. And he looked in the dictionary and it said that donkey meant stupid. So he said, we're going to name him Donkey Kong. And the Nintendo execs were like, no, that's not what donkey means. But he stuck to his guns and everyone started calling him Donkey Kong.
So did he look in like the wrong dictionary, or was it like a cheeky dictionary?
I think it was like the secondary definition, and it was like maybe at the time, or maybe it was a different word, or
yeah. It makes sense because I can imagine how you could get there. Like they used to call donkeys asses, and now we call someone an ass when they're being stupid. So if you skipped over something or mistranslated, I see it. Let's go to you next, Liz. Liz, how did Donkey Kong get his name?
So, as we all know, in the lore, Donkey Kong got his name because of the epic romance between the giant donkey and King Kong. And, people were feeling lazy, and it was an epic, star-crossed romance, but they produced this child, Donkey Kong, and no one wanted to actually name the child, so they just did, the parents and mashed them up. And that's how you get Donkey Kong.
I see. Donkey Kong is the child of a donkey and King Kong.
Exactly.
That, honestly, Liz, that answer sounds really right. People are named after their parents all the time. Solid reasoning. Dr. Dan, how did Donkey Kong get his name?
So it actually is a veiled insult. So the Nintendo Corporation for a very long time made cards for gaming, like for various different games. And when they were going to make the jump from playing cards to video games, the president of the time didn't think this could happen. He was basically bad-mouthing the staff. They were able to do it, but they needed a name for the villain of their game. The president at the time was named Donkey, and they named him Donkey Kong as a veiled insult, as he is the villain of the game. And to them, he was the villain of the project because he tried to shut the project down before it finished.
Ooh. So his name was Don
K.
K.
Don K.
Don K.
Don K.
And
it's Japanese.
Don K.
Don K.
And okay. And where did Kong come from?
Well, they knew they wanted a monkey, and King Kong was a property that existed. So they knew that audiences would identify and connect with, like, they're aware of what King Kong is. So they used it to make it easier for American audiences to identify with a project coming from a foreign land.
I see. Okay, these are 3 very different answers. So this is going to be, I'm going to need the chat's help on this. The chat is looking mixed right now, actually. We've got Maya's answer that it was just sort of a way for them to call him a stupid big monkey. stupid big monkeys, big stupid monkey. And Liz's answer is he was named after his parents, a donkey and King Kong. And Dan's answer is they were making fun of somebody by including Donkey's name in the name of the villain of the game. Is Donkey Kong the villain? Because I thought the dragon was the villain.
Bowser is different than Donkey Kong. Bowser is the villain of Mario. Donkey Kong was first, though, and Donkey Kong threw the barrels after he took the princess.
Okay,
to
Dan,
keep the princess in his like warehouse construction site thing.
Look, folks, Dan clearly knows a lot about this. I see the chat. I see mixed feelings in the chat about who sounds right, but Dan's giving me a lot of information. Dan just clarified something really important. The chat is warning me not to do it. Dan did sound very confident. Dan is a doctor. I'm going with Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan, for a very clever answer that sounded right, that they were making fun of Donkey, the villain of the project, by making his name in the name of the villain of
the game.
The game. And Tina Talon, I don't think I'm being misogynist. I think really what I'm doing is I am giving 5 points to Dan for an answer that sounded right.
And you're making Will actually do his own laundry because he is not right on that one. It was Maya.
It was Maya.
Yeah,
big
stupid monkey.
Maya, I did, I liked your answer, but it sounded a little bit, I wasn't sure about the dictionary aspect of it.
It's a true fact.
It's true. Well, I suppose it is a true fact. All right. I'm really getting torn apart in the chat for that one, folks. But I gotta sometimes go with my gut. This next one, I'll go with the chat, probably. I make that promise a lot. We'll see if it actually happens. The next question in round 2 is, a theme park ride has been scientifically proven to cure an illness. What is the ride and what is the illness? I'm very interested in this. I love theme park rides. A theme park ride has been scientifically proven to cure an illness. What's the ride? What's the illness? Let's go to Liz first. Liz, what's the ride? What's the illness?
So it's basically any super intense roller coaster, and the illness is vertigo. So vertigo is actually not well understood as an illness, and there aren't really any good cures for it. It's like, hey, there are some crystals in your inner ear. They got out of whack and now everything's spinning. And I say this as someone who got vertigo 5 years ago, and it was very confusing. And I went to the doctor and they were like, well, if it doesn't get better on its own, we'll send you to physical therapy. So basically the roller coaster is like exposure therapy and combined with just knocking those crystals around every time you go upside down, So then who knows? Then vertigo is resolved. And as I said, a theme park ride is as good as anything to treat it. Because what is physical therapy if not a, small theme park ride? Your body is getting moved in all sorts of directions.
What is physical therapy if not a theme park ride? Liz, I like that answer, and it really does make sense that if you have vertigo, that they would want to shake you around, turn you upside down, flip you back over again, and then you go on your merry way, and it's a way to reorient yourself. Liz, that answer sounds right to me, but let's hear the others first. Dan, what's your answer?
My answer is a answer you like because it is a specific answer.
Oh, wonderful.
If you ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disney World or Disneyland, it will destroy your kidney stones. It will jostle you up just the right amount, shake it up, and it will break kidney stones that are inside of your kidneys that have been built up calcium. It will destroy them, and you will pass them painlessly.
Wow. So Big Thunder Railroad.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Disney World.
Mhm.
That's, I believe, in the Magic Kingdom. Is that right?
It is in Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom. I'm giving you as much specificity as I can.
It's in Frontierland of the Magic Kingdom. This ride is rough enough that it will break up your kidney stones.
And it's also the swoops are just the right amount where it helps them pass out of the kidney. So it's more than just the jostling. It's the jostling and the actual like angles it goes at. It's just kind of not why they built it, but it works in that way.
I'm sorry, Dan. Is it Disneyland or Disney World?
Both work.
Both of them. Wait. So both of these rides in both versions of this park are both able to break up the kidney stones?
Yes, essentially the track of one is the same as the track in the other. It's the same ride. Just it's like how a Six Flags has two of the same ride in different states. Disney World and Disneyland have the same ride.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. I might have a follow-up question for that, but let's go to Maya first. Maya, what's your answer?
Okay. Well, the Superman ride at Six Flags New England, you lie down and then you fly around like Superman.
Yes.
Now, this is really good because your head is first in the flight like a bird. And that really places all of the momentum right on your head. And it actually cures migraines. For some people, not for all people. But for some migraines, it cures them, and we don't know why.
We don't know why at all?
Yeah. It's just been reported.
Migraines are very mysterious. And it really, you know what? Once again, it could be any of these. I'm probably most skeptical of Dan's, the kidney stones, just because it's a ride for children and adults. It's a ride for everyone. But are we really putting people who aren't even fully developed yet on a ride that's rough enough to break up calcifications in your pee-pee track? I don't know where do they live? Do they live in your kidneys along the way?
They're in
do
the
they send
kidneys
people there for their kidney stones?
No, people pay thousands of dollars to ride this ride, but not knowing the kidney stone effect. Because that's how much it costs to go to Disney.
Wow. Dr. Dan, did you write your thesis on this? We're getting a question in the chat.
No, I wrote my thesis on a different theme park ride doing a different thing.
I see. So this is an area of expertise then. Okay. The chat, listen, I was the most skeptical of Dan's answer, but the whole chat is really throwing their support behind this kidney stones thing. To be honest, I was going to go with Liz's answer, the vertigo. But, you know, but I do love specificity. That's true. And this is a specific ride and a specific illness. I think, once again, any of these could be true, but we're getting so much support in the chat, and I really burned them last time. So let's go ahead and go with Dan for kidney stones on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Good job.
Thank you. Let's see how you did, chat.
The chat was correct. It was kidney stones. I sound too excited saying that, but yes, that is the correct answer.
Man, the chat really always knows what they're talking about, I guess.
Oh, no, don't do Liz's idea for vertigo. It's very bad.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm horrified at the idea of doing that because I could barely, walk to the bathroom when I had vertigo. It was so... It's not like being dizzy. Someone described it that way once, and it's not like that. It's so much more extreme. You literally feel like the world is tilting. It's so, I thought I was dying. I was so confused. And they were literally like, it's random. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Liz, that sounds awful.
Liz, I will say one thing you said that was nice is that you said physical therapy is a theme park, and that's my job.
Oh, okay, awesome. That was a joke, but also I believe it. Like sometimes it feels like a theme park. I don't know, like when you're doing gross motor movements in physical therapy, sometimes it feels like a theme park ride.
A lot of them are
Wow.
carnival games.
You have to wait.
That's a really nice feedback.
It costs a lot of money. They kick you out after a certain amount of time.
There's a height requirement.
Exactly.
A lot of similarities. Dan, congratulations on your 5 points. I'm seeing in the chat, I would believe Dan if he told me that Mickey Mouse pancakes cure smallpox. So you're in the right place, other Dave Thomas, to hear some misinformation from Dr. Dan Chapman. Let's go ahead and move on. That's actually the end of our second round. Let's take a look at our scores. Let's check in how we're doing. Dan is now in the lead with Liz right behind. And Maya, you are bringing up the rear right now, but there's still time to get your spot back. Maya, is there anything that you want to share with the audience?
Sure. I'm looking for jobs. So if anyone knows jobs in education that you think I'd be good at based on this show, reach out. mytopgallic@gmail.com.
So far, does anyone run a cat island?
Yeah.
Let me know. Education.
We'll be hearing that in the chat. Maya, did you just write a book? Someone is asking in the chat.
That's true. I have a book. It's 4-dimensional education. It's about infusing competencies into knowledge. So teaching not just what, but also teaching it in a way that teaches critical thinking, collaboration, and so on.
That sounds excellent and 100% true. Maya, this is a perfect place to find a job because it's a great place to put your expertise on display.
Yeah, I'm an expert.
An expert in lots of things, as we can clearly see.
There's
still time. We are heading into the third round here. And our first question in the third round is, what is the name of the figure skating discipline formerly known as precision skating? Okay, this used to be called precision skating, but it's now known as something different. What is the name of this figure skating discipline? Dan!
Mm-hmm. It has been changed from precision skating to angled skating because it's more about the specific angles that the person is going at, and they are trying to precision. They didn't like it because they thought it was kind of making it sound too perfect. So they went with angled skating instead.
Makes sense to me. Angled skating. I don't know what that is, but I also don't really know what precision skating is. So it could absolutely be true. Maya, what is your answer?
It's now called line skating because the precision part referred to going in such a perfect line that what you leave on the ice is just one perfect line. There's no extra lines from your skates. And so they decided to be much more precise in their naming and started calling it line skating. Plus, it sounds better.
Wow. So, Maya, if they do this right, if somebody does precision skating correctly, they're on the ice. You see one single track that both of their skates are landing on?
Yes.
That's absolutely wild to me.
Yeah. They have to go around in a full loop and end it perfectly so that it's completely continuous.
Maya, I'm excited about that answer. I want it to be true. That would be impressive as hell. I'd love to watch it. Liz, let's hear your answer before I make up my mind.
So it's actually synchronized skating, also known as synchro for short. And precision skating was an imprecise name for a sport that is usually anywhere between 12 to 20 people skating in unison. And lines and angles are involved. So, everyone's a little bit right. But yeah, synchronized skating. And synchronized skating basically combines all of the other types of figure skating into one sport. So there are elements of pair skating, of ice dance, and of free skating in synchronized skating.
Synchronized skating is like a whole group?
Yes.
Like synchronized swimming.
Exactly. Except with blades and frozen water.
A couple major differences,
Yeah.
but similar to synchronized swimming. Listen, there's a little bit of a split in the chat. Liz, a lot of people like your answer. A lot of people like synchronized skating. And I have to say, it's an impressive answer. I've never seen 12 people to 15 people skate at once doing the same things. I'd be interested to see that, but I'd be more interested to see the single line. I have to go with Maya. I'm too enamored by the single line explanation. I have to give Maya 5 points. I've rung the bell. That means it's all over. And some of the chat wanted this, so I'm not the only one. Some of the chat wanted this. I want to see the single line that skates land on. Will, could it happen?
Could happen eventually, but not for this answer. Liz was correct. Synchronized skating.
It was synchronized skating. Okay, so so what I'm hearing from Will is that synchronized skating was the correct answer. The answer that sounded right to me was Maya's answer, which is why Maya got the points. Now, that's just how the show works. At the same time, I'm wondering, what would it be like for someone to skate on a single line? Does this happen? Maya, did you just make that up?
It has happened in the past. So the name figure skating, before jumps or spins or anything, figure skating was literally just people creating patterns on the ice. And you would get docked for anything outside the line that you were supposed to be creating.
It's like coloring.
But the thing is, figure skating was not like a super fun sport to watch. So I think, over time it's evolved, and you still see like elements of figure skating when people do footwork because they're creating patterns on the ice. Like a single line, like my father was a figure skater as well. And back in the 70s, they still had figure skating, compulsory figure skating as one of the parts of the competition. So they did a free skate, but they also had to do, everyone had to do the same pattern without any flaws or like things coming off of it.
Wow.
And you would get docked points.
I'm so impressed by all your knowledge, Liz. It won't get you any points, but what it will get us is an educational tag on this 2MB Studios channel show, and I appreciate. I thank you for that. This is an educational show, folks. You just heard it here from Liz. All that education that she just gave us. We're going to move on to the second question in the third round, which is, where does the term gerrymander come from? Gerrymander is a word we all know, but where does it come from? This is the second question, so we're going to start with Maya. Maya, where does the term gerrymander come from?
So there was a founding father named Gerry, and he drew a district actually here in Massachusetts, that everybody said looked like a salamander. And so they put a comic in the newspaper that was his district with a little salamander drawn on top. And they called it gerrymandering because they mispronounced his name. It was supposed to be Gary. And it's been called gerrymandering ever since.
Maya, this is a great answer because it incorporates both parts of this word, both gerry and mander, to be Gary's salamander in the newspaper. And you said it was in Massachusetts, Maya, that it was? Okay, great.
Salisbury was the head, and the 2 feet were Salem and Marblehead.
Wow. Maya, you're already getting a lot of support in the chat for this answer. You're also getting some no effing ways in the chat. So could go either way at this point. Let's go to Liz next. Liz, what is your answer?
So gerrymander is an American phenomenon and an American word. And thus you see the bastardization of Gerry from geriatrics. So politicians have been old, they stay old. We can work on that. But as of right now, it's usually old people kind of pandering, so mandering. And then you get the, geriatric pandering, gerrymandering, word, and it's American, so the Jerry is spelled wrong. But yeah, that's how it is.
Again, Liz, you're getting mixed support for this answer. Hilarious, but not correct. And others agreeing that, yes, politicians do be old. So it could go either way at this point. Dr. Dan, shed some light, please. Where does the term gerrymander come from?
Well, Liz is right about one thing. Politics do be old. So old that it's in ancient Rome. For you see, gerrymandrus is a Latin phrase, which means circle of power, which would refer to the breaking up of districts on a map to define their leadership and power. And those that were corrupt would try to circle more illustrious districts that had like better things. They had better like crops, better things like that. And then they would change the map to kind of hold on to power. And that's where it came from.
Wow. Dan, that does sound like what gerrymandering is. Listen, folks.
And I did do 4 years of Latin in high school. I have to use it at some point in my life.
Wow. Liz, did you ever do a semester of geriatrics in high school?
No, but I am my family's geriatrics expert. So I visit all of the geriatric family members. Most consistently, and you can check with my family. I'm the most frequent nursing home visitor.
That is really sweet, Liz.
I understand nursing homes better than anyone else in my family. So, yeah.
Liz, definitely getting some nice, cute family points for that one, but probably not the points. I'm not seeing, oh my gosh, the chat is flying right now. I'm seeing some support for Maya. I'm also seeing some support for Dan. Let's be honest, folks. When I hear a Latin word in the answer, I almost always give the points. A Latin word, made up or real, makes an answer sound a lot more right. And Maya's answer, so it's getting a lot of support, but I will say that it's a long walk that a guy named Gary drew a district in the shape of a salamander, and it ended up in the newspaper, and they got his name wrong, and it was shaped like a salamander. Maya, listen, I'm not saying it's not right, but does that answer sound right to everybody?
So amazing. It's got to be true.
So amazing. Well, Maya, there is something to that, because why would you make that up? Because why wouldn't, if you were making it up, why wouldn't you say his name was Jerry, which is how the word is actually said?
I don't know. I don't want to stereotype Dr. Dan, but I feel like everyone I know who uses Latin as an adult is lying. Like, I just don't trust people.
Wow.
Who
Liz,
pull out their Latin. No shade, but definitely.
No, that's a lot of shade.
I have to tell you that I
You
use
just
Latin.
complimented physical therapists not 5 minutes ago. Now this.
Oh,
Oh my God, we lost it.
Dan was ejected for aggressive behavior.
I got him so upset he left the room.
Misinformation. I have some sad information for you though. I used Latin in a previous answer. Rara avis is a Latin phrase that means rare bird.
That's true, Maya.
So Latin is not perfect.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And I did not give you the points then. Let's make up for that now. For the Latin phrase earlier and for an answer that the chat is absolutely throwing support behind. Dan, I hope you had some time to cool down.
No.
Moment.
My internet crapped out, so no.
Perfect timing.
Dan is just as aggressive, but he's back in the room. I'm going to give 5 points to Maya.
I came back for that.
Dan, while you were gone, Maya convinced me, pointed out that Latin is not always right. And we've got now 5 points going to Maya for that answer.
Thank goodness you chose Maya, because that is correct. Gerrymandering.
Wow. Pretty good track record tonight, Will?
Oh, you know it. I am very excited. I'm going to get out of here, but not because I'm mad like Dan, but because I'm happy like Will.
Will has to go do his private celebration. It's a really special dance that he does, that he's doing backstage. In the meantime, we're going to, everybody loves Will Actually. We know, chat. We're going to go to the third question in the third round. Final question, which is, what former child star was the president of Magic Castle, and what drink is named after them? All right. This is a former child star that was the president of Magic Castle and now has a drink named after them. I'd love to hear your answers. Liz, I'm coming to you first. Who's this child star?
Well, it's actually Macaulay Culkin. He loves to have an air of mystery around him. And, he's really on the up and up. I think he just had a baby with another child star, Brenda Song, I think, from the Disney Channel. And she was Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior, in that iconic Disney Channel original movie. I'm getting off track. But the point is, Macaulay Culkin, he had a really rough time because, fame is a disease and like putting it on children is unethical, and we should really reckon with that as a society. Sure. Sorry, I got out of breath. I'm really passionate about it. And for that reason, I think it's great that Macaulay Culkin was the president of Magic Castle and has a drink named the Kayleigh. It sounds, a little like French, a little fun, but it's actually Macaulay Culkin. But it's the Kayleigh.
Wow.
And it's a mix of ginger ale and lemonade. It doesn't sound good, but, everyone's unique and he gets his own drink.
Hey, Liz, it sounds good to me. I would take a ginger ale and lemonade anytime. Could be true, Liz. Dan, let's get your answer. What's your answer? Who's that child star?
That child star is Neil Patrick Harris. After doing Doogie Howser, he found himself, he didn't want to do acting for a while. As we know, he disappeared from the scene. And one of the things he picked up was magic, and he's gotten quite good at it. He's done it on Broadway, in different shows he's done. He's done it on How I Met Your Mother a bit. And at a certain point, he was voted the president of the Magic Castle in Los Angeles, which is the private club for magicians in Los Angeles. And very simply, he has a NPH Old Fashioned that they make. That just is a Old Fashioned that has extra cherry syrup, or cherry bitters, to be specific.
Oh, I see.
But
so
that's all.
At the Magic Castle, you can order this drink.
Yep, at the Magic Castle, you could just walk up to the bar and say, "May I have one NPH Old Fashioned?" And then they will charge you money to produce that drink.
That is exciting. Maya, what is your answer? Former child star.
It's Shirley Temple. Well-known drink, well-known child star, and they almost called it the Magic Temple, but they ended up going with Castle to be more majestic.
They ended up going with Castle to be more majestic. And Shirley Temple was the president of Magic Castle?
Yes.
I don't know what the Magic Castle is. I'm so sorry. I keep talking about it as if I know. Listen, okay, we're running out of time. We have to go to the lightning round. Everybody in the chat thinks it's Dan, so I'm going to go ahead. I don't have time to think it through. We're giving it to Dan. Everyone in the chat says so. Dan, you'll take it. Neil Patrick Harris. I saw him do magic on How I Met Your Mother. Is this true, Will?
That is 100% correct. Dan is correct. It is NPH.
NPH at the Magic Castle, which is a place where they do magic tricks. I'm going to learn about this Magic Castle. These were all great answers. Let's go to the bonus lightning round. We have time for just a few questions. This is going to decide the winner, folks. If you like an answer, throw a name in the chat. All the points during this round come from you, not from me. So go ahead and throw those names in to give points to your favorite contestants. Let's go. What's that first question?
Ooh.
Dan, what coin is this?
It's an octagonal quarter.
Okay, Liz, what coin is this?
It's the little-known $3 coin.
Could be true. Maya, what coin is this?
This is a quarter.
It's a friggin' quarter. Will, what is it actually?
Susan B. Anthony.
Oh.
It's called
a coin?
Susan B. Anthony?
Yeah, Susan B. Anthony dollar.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Fantastic. Next question. What comic is this from? Dan?
Oh, it's The Killing Joke.
Liz, what comic is this from?
Batman.
Liz, what comic is this from?
All
Joker.
Batman. All Batman.
Sorry, Maya, what comic is this from?
The Joker.
The Joker. Will, what comic is this from, actually?
It is specifically Batman the Killing Joke.
Batman the Killing Joke. Is that what you said, Dan?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow, impressive.
It's been a long day.
This is very exciting to me. Let's do one more. Who the heck is this, Dan?
Oh, that is Ben Folds' father.
Okay,
Franklin
Liz.
Folds.
Franklin Folds.
Franklin
Liz,
Folds.
who is this?
Jim Henson. Can't you see the little puppets?
Oh, there are some puppets in there. Maya, who is this?
Shirley Temple's father.
Mr. Temple.
Mr. Temple. Dr. Temple.
Will, who is this, actually?
It is Brazilian educator Paulo Freire.
Sorry, Paulo Freire.
Sorry, Paolo. That is going to do it for us, folks. We are at the end of our time here. Liz, is there anything that you want to tell the audience before we finish up?
Follow me on Twitter. It's just my name, at Liz Estey, and you can hear about what dating during a pandemic is like.
Ooh.
We all want to hear about it. Everybody go follow at Liz Estey on Twitter. Folks, we are ready to declare a winner, and it is going to be Dr. Dan. Dr. Dan, congratulations with finishing with 30 points. Very impressive. Those 30 points are going to get you a diploma from 2MB University. Hang it on your wall. It is just as important as your other degrees, so make sure you go ahead and print that off. Folks, join us next time on That Sounds Right, and stay tuned for Poof, the magical game show starting right now. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.